Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Making 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 16 of What If Naruto Was Exiled from the Otsutsuki clan. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was one of the Legendary 7 over on Anime King, and enjoy that guys. And also, stay tuned for a brand new episode coming over in Making 2, which I do hope that you guys will enjoy. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Making family. And thank you for all of your help and support, and yeah, without further ado, what do you say begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last time we left off, Eve found herself in a rather sticky position. She didn't know what was going on or what these people were talking about. But she was sure for one thing though, that man over there was the rightful god. And that one over there, that woman who was looking at her with such interest, was also something else. These people were actually not normal. If there was one person that was most normal in here, was a young child, like her age, as she looked towards a boy. But their claims made no sense. So she went with the backstory that she was supposed to say, telling them a lie about her parents back at the Hidden Rain, as Naruto told her that she can go now. After all, she told him that it would be an incident between the Rain and Konoha if he held her here hostage, but he told her he would not do such a thing, as she respectfully left. Minma came up to his judge as he asked him what was wrong. Minma could tell that that girl was somehow connected to him, and after what Naruto said, as Naruto told him that there was nothing to worry about, he will handle it. He should just keep on focusing on the Chunin exams. So with that, he made his way. As Erza asked Naruto what he was going to do, he told her he was going to gather some information. Later that day, as Erza found Tsunade, they were talking about what happened, and Tsunade told her something that Kushina told her once in the past. Something that got her thinking when she first saw Menma. The identity of the child that she was having was mostly gender. As Erza got conflicted by hearing that. If Tsunade was right with her statement, that meant that unknown girl could really be Menma's sister. Meanwhile, with Naruto, as he made his way straight towards the Hidden Rain, it was then that Nagato felt at the moment. His water from the rain that he was making coming down touched Naruto. The sensation of that on top well that didn't make any sense. He was here. He told Konan to move out to set up the precautions to get the city evacuated. As this fight was gonna happen, if it was, the city would no doubt be affected, and he couldn't have his people dying. As Naruto marched straight towards the tower, Nagato came towards him as Tendo, but Naruto wasn't interested in talking to him. He went straight towards Nagato. As Naruto saw him, as Naruto was able to find out who he was, it seems Nagato knew a lot about him as well. Because of him being an Uzumaki, Naruto was gonna give him the benefit of doubt that he didn't know who this masked man was calling himself Madara Uchiha, even though Naruto knew that he knew. Naruto told him to not get in his way, because as a fellow Uzumaki, and from what happened in the past, as Naruto felt still hurt and blamed himself of what he allowed to happen, he didn't want to kill Nagato, and he really hoped that he didn't have to come to blows. As Naruto got what he wanted, but the information was still lacking a bit, he made his way, and he ran into the man that he was actually looking for. As Naruto felt the chakra, it felt so similar to Madara, yet quite not perfect, so he could tell that this was not Madara but someone close to him, who he didn't know though. As Naruto tried to see under the mask, but it was lined with a fiber that could even block his Byakugan sight, so Naruto went in to rip it off. The man tried to fight back against Naruto, but he soon realized that he stood no chance. He then did something that confused Naruto. As Naruto felt the surge of chakra, his Mangekyou ability, he was there 1 second, next second he wasn't. and he used that opportunity to fled, as Naruto never got to grab him. He appeared back towards his hideout as he collapsed on the ground coughing up blood. Just a few hits and he was in pain. Severe pain. He couldn't take on the rightful god. Not yet anyway. Right now he's still no chance. Zetsu already know that though. But it seems like things were just getting heated up. We then skipped later that day as Naruto spoke to Tsunade about what Urza told her. As Naruto might think that this was actually his granddaughter. If it was, he couldn't let her go back out there. He already failed so many times before. He could not fail his grandchildren. As Naruto talked to Mikoto that night, over the years she has become a close friend to him. And she was glad that he informed her in this. Well, just to show how close they have become. As she told him that he was doing wonders with Menma. As she could see that he just wanted to make up for his past mistakes. As they were saying goodnight though, she did something on reaction. It was a mistake as she kissed him goodnight. She soon realized her mistake. As she just went inside. Her face all red, realizing her action. It was just quick and without thinking. What has she done? We then skipped to the upper atmosphere of Earth. As someone was looking down towards Earth, it was a random guard, one of the Otsutsukis. They were scouring the plains trying to find Naruto after all. Momoshiki had sent them out. Now that he was king, it was about time that he tied up some loose ends. And one of those loose ends were killing Naruto. But as the man was looking down towards the planet, a hand shoved through his back and ripped through his chest. As he was dead. Someone killed him as they looked down towards the planet. So yeah guys, that was basically last, but I thought you guys can switch across the PlayStation for yourself. So what do you say begin this new episode? Naruto and Urza stood right at the entrance towards the academy. As the three kids stood in front of them, they were all ready. As they had a determined look on their face to pass no matter what. As Naruto stooped down in front of them, so they were eye level. You guys have shattered my expectations for all of you. Time and time again, he said towards them. I have no doubt of straight in my heart that you will pass and become Chunins. But remember, don't be overconfident or cocky. You hear that, Sasuke, he said. Why just me, Sasuke said. Well, you're the most cockiest, said Menma. He's right, said Hinata, as Sasuke pouted as he turned his head. As the group laughed a bit. Now, go on and make me proud, said Naruto. Don't worry, JJ, said Menma. We will pass, no matter what. It's not like any of these weaklings can stand in my way, said Sasuke. As Menma bumped him over the head. That is what he's talking about. Don't be so cocky. Stop the fighting. We have to work as a team, said Hinata, as the both of them looked towards her. Her stare made the both of them pale as they nodded. As Naruto smiled. As Urza looked towards her, as she gave Hinata a thumbs up for her, well, more commanding role. Hinata blushed a bit in embarrassment. Keep them in line, said Urza. I will, Hinata said. Now, let's get moving. As Naruto watched as they waved goodbye as they headed inside, her confidence was already growing. What did you do to her, said Naruto. I just added a bit of spice in her step. She's a powerful kunoichi. It's about time that she showed, said Urza. Well, it surely boosts her confidence, said Naruto. Without me being there, she is the team leader. She has the mind, the calculations. It is a perfect team setup, he said. Well, you already know that you're gonna pass, Urza said. You're not worried, aren't you? Of course not, said Naruto. Then what happened, Urza asked. I don't know what you're talking about, said Naruto. Come on. You know I can see right through your little facade. As Naruto glanced towards her, something happened that you're not telling me. As Naruto started to walk, Urza narrowed her eyes. You're a bit nervous. And also a bit flustered as I talk about it, so that means it's something to do with feelings. Romantic feelings, I guess. Mikoto, as she saw Naruto twitch slightly. Oh, so something did happen. Come on, spill it. What happened? I'm not telling you anything, said Naruto. Oh, why not, she asks. Because you like to blab. Who would I tell? I just know a few people in this village. Yes, and you will inform those few people because you love to talk, said Naruto. You know I'm not gonna stop until you tell me, right? As Naruto sighed, knowing that she could be rather annoying, she kissed me, okay? She finally did it. Wait, you knew that she was gonna do this? Well, kind of, yes. I know that you've been struggling ever since what happened to you in the past. And I can feel it inside you right now. And when I just came here, it was there, on full display. Most would be able to sense it, but you know I'm better than most. A part of you was dead, the romantic part. That is why you didn't notice her feelings towards you, as you became friends with her. It's not like you guys are kids or anything. It is a lot different. She won't be acting childish. She's a grown woman, she has kids. And not to mention she had a husband who was now gone. She thought that she would be, well, by herself, raising her kids. She never thought that she would find someone like you. As Naruto was silent as he looked towards it, he had never noticed any of those things. After Kushina died, he had shut himself off to anything romantic for a long while. He barely think about that anymore. So what are you gonna do about it, Ursa asked. I don't know. You're afraid, Ursa said. What? Have you ever seen me afraid before? Never. But now you are. And what makes you say that? Because you're never one for not knowing what to do. You're always a strong, heavy one that goes in, always having a plan, no matter what happens. So I can tell that you're afraid. She's become one of my closest friends. Closer than me, said Ursa. You know you will always be my best friend, said Naruto. But if I do something, and it jeopardizes our relationship, I will hate myself for that. You mean if you don't feel the same way? Do you? I don't know, said Naruto. I guess I'll just have to think about it. I'm sorry, Ursa said. Huh? About what? I knew that you were hurting for a long while. Over the time I've been here, I've been watching you. You never fully forgave yourself for what happened back there. I thought that you might snap out of it after a while. But now as I think about it, for the past 30 years, you've been in self-loathing. You must have really loved her. Yeah, said Naruto. Well, Ursa placed a hand on his shoulder. There's nothing for you to worry about. I'll be here for you no matter what. We have been together through thick and thin. I'm not about to give up on you right now. Thanks for that, said Naruto. As Naruto then saw a blur coming towards them, the blur stopped right in front of them. Yush, Naruto. As Naruto saw that it was Guy, as Naruto groaned. Ursa was surprised as she wondered who was this, as Naruto never introduced her to this one. He had a well-toned physique as she looked towards him. Strange bushy eyebrows, black hair, and he was in a green bodysuit. How is this youthful day treating you? Asked Guy. I'm doing well, Guy, said Naruto. I'm glad, said Guy. Our youthful fire would be blazing today because our Genins are going to be partaking in the fearful tuning exams for them to rise up and pass the competition and be number one, said Guy. The youths of flames are going to be higher than ever today as we watch them embark upon various obstacles to show that our teaching had made them worthy for this day. As Ursa giggled, Guy finally noticed her throughout his run and everything. Well, he seemed to not have noticed her. I deeply apologize, he said, for not introducing myself. I am Mike Guy, he said, as he extended his hand. Nice to meet you. My name is Ursa, Ursa said as she took his hand. Naruto, why haven't you introduced me to such a youthful woman, Guy asked. Because I never wanted this meeting to happen. As Guy simply shrugged as he slapped Naruto over the back. Your humor always get me, friend, he said. I like your fiery spirit, said Ursa, as Naruto's eyebrow twitched. Really? Yeah, he's quirky, and I like it, she said. I appreciate, said Guy, but I'm not the only one burning with the fire of youth. We all are, he said. As Ursa chuckled once again. Now I bid you all farewell. I have some few parting words to give on to my students. As he ran off. He's interesting, Ursa said. I will throw the both of you off of a mountain, said Naruto. What? Ursa said. I haven't even said anything. Don't you even think about that, said Naruto. He really get under your skin, doesn't he? As she chuckled. As Naruto knew that chuckle, a sly smile came on her face. Flaming power for you, Ursa said, as she shouted it right at his ear. As Naruto turned towards her with a deadpan look, a few moments later, "You're gonna pay for this," said Ursa, as she was jumping off of a mountain top. Her hands and legs were bound by black rods that wrapped around her tightly. As Naruto looked down towards her, as she fell, a rather long drop. As Naruto flew off, unknown to him or even Ursa, someone was watching them. The person concealed himself so much. If you tried to sense him out, the only thing that he would sense was the earth around you. He was blending with nature. As a person was keeping a keen eye on them, the person moved off when Naruto moved off. Meanwhile, back at the village. When did she become so bossy, Sasuke said, as he glanced towards Hinata. They were just challenged by Rock Lee. Well, him. Rock Lee wanted to fight the both of them though to test his flame of youth against them. But Sasuke relished the challenge, but Hinata said that they didn't have time. He didn't know when she became so bossy, like she was in charge, but he wouldn't say that out loud, as men must seem to just fall in line. They finally arrived at the room. As they stepped inside, the moment that they did, they felt the killing intent from all the participants inside. But it was nothing compared to what they were put under by their sensei. To make sure they had resistance towards it, it was absolutely nothing. As a group, whilst they chose to just blend in, the killing intent had stopped. So you guys are here as well, huh? Such a drag. They turned to see Shikamaru and Ino as Ino rushed forward and jumped right on top of Sasuke as she placed her arms around his neck. "It's been a long while, Sasuke-kun," she said. "It has," said Choji as he came in, munching a few chips. "So you guys are here as well, huh?" said a voice, as it was the voice of Kiba, as him and his group came in with Shino and Sakura, as they greeted one another. Meanwhile, that was going on. Naruto was currently walking down the street, along with Mikoto. The both of them had ran into each other. "So, where's Ursa?" Mikoto said. As Naruto felt a bit of tenseness between them, given what happened. Yeah, it was a bit tense, although he didn't want it to be. "She's not in the village at the moment. She'll be back soon," said Naruto. And pissed, he thought to himself. Well, she asked for it. "So, when is the second phase gonna be starting up?" "You still want to attend it with me?" said Naruto. "Yeah, why wouldn't I? I want to see how my son and Minma and Hinata are going to do." "You are gonna bring me in the room, right? So that we can watch them on the monitors." "Yeah," said Naruto. A bit of the tenseness was going away. "Do you think they will be okay?" she asked. Not to be a bit overconfident or anything, said Naruto, but in terms of power and strength, they have every other team beat. Well, judging that you're their sensei, I don't doubt that. The next phase should begin in a couple of hours. There is first a written test, so we have a couple of hours to spare, said Naruto. I doubt they have even started yet. "Oh, okay," she said. "So, what do you want to do?" "I can't stand this," said Naruto. What are you talking about?" "The awkwardness," Naruto said. "Look, let's talk about what happened last night." "Last night," she said, as her cheeks became a bit red. Faintly, though. "I'm sorry for what happened." "I didn't mean it," she said. "You didn't?" said Naruto, as he looked towards her. She looked towards his face. She couldn't tell if he was hurt or happy by hearing that. Sometimes his face doesn't really give off most emotions. "So why did it happen?" said Naruto. "Well, They had to stop as a few people passed by them. Children, as they came running by, with smiles on their faces. Both of them looked down at the happy kids, playing in the street. Until their mother called out to them, as the children was running around, Naruto and Mikoto. They were playing their game. As they ran back to their mother, as Naruto turned his head, he then felt something. Something whipped past him so fast. The only thing he saw was the blur The grayish blur. As he heard the scream of Mikoto as she was taken away. All the people in the market district area stopped, wondering what the hell just happened. Because they didn't really see anything, they just heard a slight squeak. The next thing they knew, Naruto just shot off the ground, breaking it as he moved. As he passed the barrier of Konoha within seconds. Whoever this person was, they were fast as they speed through the air. Their speed was incredible as they made their way. As the person finally came to a stop out in the deserts, as Naruto stopped as well. The person was a few feet in front of him. The person was wearing a hooded cloak, so he could not see their face. As he looked at Mikoto, she was frazzled, but there was a protective yellow glow around her. At the high movements that this person was moving, they coated her body with their own power so she wouldn't injure herself. Because if they hadn't, her spine would have surely snapped. So it looked like this person didn't want to cause her any harm. The person held her up by her arms. As Naruto's eye twitched, "Whoever you are, I would kindly suggest that you put her down. And I won't ask again," said Naruto. His voice became lethal and dangerous. The person simply chuckled. "I thought that you were lost. Well, seems that there's still a bit of you in there." The person then tossed her, his hand glowing that same yellow energy. Instantly, a yellow spear surrounded her, trapping her inside. Mikoto panted. She didn't understand what was going on. One moment, they were in the hidden leaf. The next moment, all she saw was blur. And then they were here in the desert. She called out to Naruto. As he looked towards her, he gave her a reassuring smile, telling her that everything would be fine. As she released a sigh of relief, the person then reached and ripped off the cloak. As Naruto was surprised. "You." Meanwhile, the group was currently taking the exam, the test. The test was rather hard for a normal person, but Hinata was rather smart, and not to mention, she had a cheat, her Byakugan. Sasuke also had the Sharingan to mimic the movement of the person in front of him. On the other hand, Menma was quite smart. Yes, ridiculously so. After all, Ren had put him through a course. She told him that he needed knowledge to become Hokage, not just bronze. So he knew every single answer in this paper. He didn't need to cheat one bit. So it was rather easy for him. After about 45 minutes, "Pencils down," Ibiki said, as they all came to a stop. "Now, for the final question. There is also some precautions. If you don't want to take it, you don't have to." "Huh? Why is that?" the blonde from the sand asked. As Menma turned towards her, something was up with her brother. As he glanced towards the red-haired boy, he was jittery and all twitchy. Menma glanced back as he saw E. He didn't know her real name. That is what she said though. Call her E. She wasn't looking his way. She was looking towards Ibiki. "I'm just about to explain that," Ibiki said. "If you take this question and fail, you will never be able to participate in the Chunin exams ever again." "What?" Many murmurs broke around the room. "Silence," Ibiki said. "But if you give up right now, you'll be able to take part in exams in the next 6 months. So it's up to you. Fail and be a genin forever. Or give up and wait till 6 months." As many of them in the room were as petrified. Sasuke narrowed his eyes. Something about this didn't seem right. That couldn't be right, to make them stay genins forever. Hinata, on the other hand, see right through his little trickery. As Menma realized something, how could he make them stay genin forever? Especially those that were not from Konoha. "Wait!" The voice of Kiba spoke up, as he pointed towards Kabuto. "That guy has taken the exam before." "Well, I wasn't the proctor back then. Now I am. My exam, my rules," Ibiki said, as many of them shuddered at those rules. "Now I'll give you a few minutes to decide. Go on, decide." People started to raise their hands. Menma turned his head towards Sasuke. The both of them gave each other a nod. They then turned towards Hinata. As she gave them a positive nod, they would not give up. After a few minutes, Ibiki saw that no one else was leaving, although he did cut the number down severely. Alright, those of you who stay behind, you pass. Wait, what? Meanwhile, as Naruto was surprised, Aizan, he said. Standing in front of him was a man named Aizan. Aizan Otsutsuki. He had long silver hair, not white as many other Otsutsuki, but he had different traits. He had the standard Byakugan though. He was a rather bulky fellow, but that didn't do anything to his speed. He was fast, incredibly so. He was wearing black pants, a white loose shirt that showed off his muscles, as he had a rather wicked grin on his face as he walked in a circle, his hands at his side. He then turned towards Naruto with a smile. Thought you would be dead by now, he said. Same for you, said Naruto, with all the trouble you got yourself in. I suppose you're right, said Aizan. So tell me, Aizan, what are you doing here, said Naruto. Oh, isn't that simple? I'm here for you. If you might or might not have known, Momoshiki is now the new leader. Is that so, said Naruto. Don't fake ignorance with me. I know that Urza is here. I know that she ran to you and tell you everything that happened. So it's quite simple. I'm here to bring you back under his order. You know I'm not gonna go back, said Naruto. I was hoping that you would say that. After all, it's been a long while since we fought. As Naruto narrowed his eyes, him and Aizan wasn't really friends, but they had a mutual respect of each other because of their power, as that was the only thing that Aizan seemed to value the most, strength. Well, he did have his pride as a Otsutsuki. Aizan, this won't turn out good for you if you decide to fight me. I'll give you the chance to leave. Oh. As Aizan turned as he glanced towards the woman, I saw that you were rather chummy with this woman, so I decided to take her as an incentive. If you prove too worthless, I'll kill her in front of your eyes. Aizan, said Naruto. Watch what you're saying. Why would I give a damn about what I'm saying? It's obvious that you have become weak. I mean, look at you. You look like a lesser being. Where is the man that went up against 100,000 Viltrumites, 4 days waiting for his comrades to arrive, and he held his own? You were severely outnumbered and yet you kept on fighting because you never give up. But now looking at you, I must say I'm disappointed, said Aizan. You've grown rather weak. I can barely see you as a challenge anymore, and things have changed in the past years that you have been banished. I wasn't on planet that day. When I returned, I was quite shocked. I went to speak to Urza that you were banished, and I was quite surprised that the king just allowed you to be banished like that. I knew that something was wrong. Oh, and what was it, said Naruto. Well, you did challenge Momoshiki, and he did have the right to banish you if you had failed. After all, it's the law. But still, the king valued you as one of his strongest, one of his elites. So I'm surprised that he just let you go like that. And I came to find out that the king has been in a coma the entire time. What? Said Naruto. You didn't know, did you? Yes. His advisors thought that it would be wise to not tell anyone, to keep the order in check. It seems like something had happened to him. The events of that I don't know, but he has been in a coma since then. So, it was rather easy for Momoshiki to take the spotlight with his number of forces that he gathered. Come on, did you really think that Momoshiki could defeat the king on his own? So it makes sense, said Naruto. Yes, and now he's in charge, said Aizan, and I've been instructed to bring you back. I'm surprised that you're following him, said Naruto. You were never a man to bow down to such rule. Well, can't go against the top league, can I, know, Aizan said. And after all, if you don't abide to his rules, you get slaughtered. He has a numerous amount of them on his side. And I fell in line. And besides, I don't see you as worthy enough to be the one to take the seat from him. So, how about I bring you back? Aizen, we were never friends, said Naruto, but we respected each other because of our strength. I don't want to kill you. Aizen chuckled. You don't want to kill me, huh? He clenched his fist as Mikoto screamed. The barrier got hot. As Naruto's eyes turned murderous, Aizen chuckled. The barrier returned back to normal. Aizen shot forward with no hesitation, picking up a storm as he did. He came in with a brutal left jab that whipped through the air as Naruto ducked. Aizen didn't stop there though as he twisted his body. He brought his leg around through the air. The pressure that it came when picked up another storm. As Naruto blocked it. Behind Naruto, a massive chunk of the desert was blown away because of the pressure. Aizen then chopped his fist forward. A tsunami of fire escaped from his fist. Naruto flashed away as the sand turned to glass. Aizen turned as he twisted his foot through the air and slammed it in Naruto's guard. Naruto crossed his arm in X motion as Naruto was thrown. He crushed right through the sand as Aizen jumped. He brought his foot down and dropped it on Naruto's guard. The sand was kicked up and blown away as Naruto was left in a sizable crater. Aizen raised his hand to the heavens. Instantly, the sky started to darken. Meanwhile, in the sand ninjas were confused. Rain had fell in the desert, but not to this degree. As they watched the approaching storm, the sky quaked as the rain started to fall. Meanwhile, the rain twists into something deadly. A massive tornado that Aizen dropped right on Naruto. The ground was ripped up. The earth was torn to the point where the sand was blown away that you could literally see the earth that was deep down. In the midst of this crater was nothing. Aizen smirked. As fast as ever, he said. Yellow chains emerged from his back and grabbed Naruto before he could punch him. He then twisted and dropped Naruto in the earth. He brought his leg down. BAM! Mikato's eyes widened when she saw Naruto gasp out in pain as Aizen's leg dropped into his stomach. Aizen then reached down and grabbed Naruto by his throat as he picked him up off the ground. He then slammed an uppercut under his chin, throwing him back as Naruto flipped in the air and landed on his feet. Mikoto released a sigh of relief when she saw that he was okay. As Naruto wiped his mouth, pathetic, Aizen said, "Why are you holding back on me? You know I won't stop until I bring you back." Oh, that's right. Most of the time you don't care about your own well-being. You care about the people close to you, said Aizen. We don't have to do this, said Naruto. I know you don't like Momoshiki. If you help me, help you, Aizen says. He laughed. You must be crazy. Look at you. Who do you have? Yes, you have Ursa. You are strong. Stronger than most. But against everyone, what the hell are you gonna do? And you want me to join your side? You must be damaging your brain or something. I don't want to die, as of yet. So you've become a coward, said Naruto. Last time I checked, you never feared death. Yes, that's right. But I also enjoy life. So what's the point of giving it up because of you, who can't really do much? You've become weak, my friend. I thought that you would have become strong over the years, but I guess I was wrong. And get that thought off your head because I'm not gonna join you. So you might as well just give up and let me take you back now. And then I'll tell Momoshiki about this earth. I mean, it's a wonderful place. The energy here, the human life force, it's amazing, and not to mention, they already know how to conserve their power and use it as a whole. I've been around, just a day, but still. The fruit that will grow here will be immense. So yeah, everyone that you come to know will die soon enough, Aizen said. I thought I could make you see that being on my side would be better, said Naruto. But I can't allow you to do that. I can't allow you to kill the people here. So I'm gonna have to stop you. How exactly? With the weak, pathetic state that you're in, Aizen asked. He blinked, and that was his mistake. He felt something chopping him in the throat as he gasped. The next thing he knew, a palm striking his chest. All the air leave his lungs as he was sent sailing like a bullet. He crashed right through the sand. As Naruto looked up towards Minato, it wasn't safe for her here. He would get a clone to bring her back as he flew upwards. She banged on the barrier as she pointed behind him. As Naruto turned, several earth arms slammed into him as they forced him up against the barrier. They then brought him down. Boom! Aizen stood in mid-air as he held up his hand. His entire body started to glow, a brilliant shade of yellow, before it went up into a tiny ball right in front of his palm. He then dropped it. Minato had to shield her eyes as everything went white. When she was finally able to look, she saw that a part of the desert was gone. The earth was black and charred, and there was nowhere, no sign of Naruto. As she looked around, as she started to worry when she didn't see him anywhere, Aizen stood in front of the barrier. Huh, guess I overdid it. Guess your little friend is dead now, he said. But he looked amused as he said that. As he felt something, he turned. He tried to block what was coming, but the force of the kick sent him sailing as he crashed into the earth. He picked himself up as he wiped blood away from his lip. Guess you're getting serious, he said as he looked up in mid-air, where he saw Naruto hovering there. Not even a scratch. Guess your speed wins out once again, he said. As he held out his arm, the ground cracked. Hundreds, maybe thousands of wooden shrapnels grew from the earth. This was not a normal tree from the earth. These trees were strangely white, with red markings on them, and their spears were so sharp they could tear through a human body without hesitation, and they all shot towards Naruto. As Naruto waved his hand, a chain of explosion went off as they were decimated right in front of him. Aizen flashed behind him as he brought his leg down. As Naruto grabbed it, Naruto twisted him in mid-air and brought him down. Boom! He shattered the already destroyed ground. As Naruto raised his fist and dropped it into Aizen's stomach, the earth cracked. As Naruto picked him up by the throat and threw him up in the air, Naruto then jumped and delivered a sonic kick right to his chin. His body was launched up into mid-air. As Naruto then held up his hand and brought down the force, Aizen came down like a meteor as he decimated the earth with his drop. As Naruto stood there, a bright beam of golden light then shot up into the sky as laughter could be heard. When the smoke cleared away, there Aizen stood. His shirt was torn badly. His pants had a few holes in it, but his eyes had changed. He was now sporting a pair of yellow ringon. 2 horns had grown out of his head, as he had a twisted look on his face. "Let's continue, shall we?" he said, as he rushed towards Naruto. Meanwhile, at Konoha, one of the other rain teams was currently watching. Menma as he sat down. They had saw him store a scroll in his pouch earlier. He was trying to hide, but it was not a good hiding spot. As they chuckled to each other, before the 3 of them jumped down. "Hey!" As Menma turned a frightful look on his face. "What do you want?" he said. What do we want?" "Oh, that scroll of yours. What are you talking about?" I don't have it," said Menma. "Oh, don't lie to us. I saw you put it away in your pouch. Now," as he pulled out a kunai, leader of team it seems, "give it to me." "Oh," said Menma as his fright turned to a smirk. The rain team looked at each other. "You want this?" As he pulled out the scroll. "Here, catch," as he threw it. They realized that it was glowing as they all leaped away. It exploded. The moment the leader came to a stop, he felt something behind him as he turned to see. A pair of black eyes looking into his own. As Sasuke smirked, the other two members landed beside each other. My apologies, but we don't have any time to waste. As they turned towards the voice, the moment they did, the both of them were struck in the stomach. As they felt their points seize up at the touch, the both of them collapsed over, twitching, unable to fully move. Sasuke came back a moment later, as he had the scroll in his hand. Well, that was easy, said Menma. We should get going to the tower now, said Hinata, as the both of them gave her a nod, as they started to make their way through the forest, when Menma felt something as he stopped. What is it? Sasuke asked. Hinata activated her Byakugan as she looked around, as she saw someone in the far distance waving through hand signs, and the person was gathering so much chakra. Menma, she said, as Menma already felt it. On it, he says, he flashed one hand of his own. Earth style, Earth Brigade, as he slammed his hand down. 4 earth walls came up. As they were large, they uprooted trees. As they blocked the massive wind attack that slammed into the first and broke it apart. The second one cracked, and a few ear particles came out, but the third one stood firm. As Sasuke pulled out 2 pair of kunais. Who the hell is it? He asked. This person, Hinata said, is definitely not a genin. As she watched as the person flashed upon the tree branch above them, all 3 of them looked up. The person looked down and smirked. It was a female from the grass. Why, hello there, little kiddies. Meanwhile, Mikoto still didn't know who the hell this guy was, or how he was that powerful. It was then that she felt something hit the barrier, as she turned to see Ursa standing there. As Ursa gave her a nod, as she placed her hand on the barrier, 3 balls came from Ursa's palm. As they clashed against the golden barrier, they threatened to break it as it started to crack before it shattered completely. Ursa then flew forward and caught Mikoto before she could fall, as she gently placed her down to the ground. What the hell is going on? I don't know, said Mikoto. This guy, he just came out of nowhere and brought me out here and placed me in that barrier and started to fight Naruto. As Ursa turned her head, she had felt that power. This was not normal. She knew who this power belonged to, but yet, he would not side with Momoshiki. She hadn't even thought about him. He would be one of them to die because he would fight against him. So what the hell was going on? I'm gonna take you back to Konoha, Ursa said. No, said Mikoto. I have to see if Naruto's okay. Look, Naruto's gonna be fine, but I'm sure he'll be pissed off if I let you get any... Before she could finish that sentence, something crashed right next to them as Ursa stepping away, blocking every debris that came their way. It was none other than Aizen. Aizen peeled himself off the ground as he coughed up blood. Before he could go any further, a fist smashed into his nose. There was a sound of bones breaking. Before his body could launch away though, Naruto grabbed his ankle and smashed him into the earth 3 times before picking him back up and delivering a massive roundhouse kick. He was sent sail like a rag doll as Naruto flashed right on top of him. 3 rods appear as Naruto drives them into his arm, pinning him down to the earth as he created another one and stabbed it into his stomach. Aizen raised his head as Naruto stomped it right into the ground, as his nose was already broken but it was further twisted as he coughed blood from his mouth. As Naruto stood over him and raised his fist, as the ear started to twist, Naruto was banged in space and time, it seems, as the ear on his fist started to warp, as he brought it down. Before he could do, he stopped inches right at Aizen's face. That fist would have surely turned his face into paste, as the ground underneath him exploded inwards because of the backlash of the punch. As Aizen felt his head being pressed down because of the force, yet it did not hit him. He coughed up blood, his eyes returning back to his normal state, as he looked up at Naruto. Ursa came over along with Mikoto, who was behind her. Naruto, Ursa said. It's alright, said Naruto. Why didn't you kill me, Aizen said. Because you protected Ursa. Huh? What the hell are you talking about, Aizen said to him. As he looked up at Naruto, yet his face showed one who was playing a trick, a game. What are you going on about, Naruto, said Ursa. I always wonder how did you manage to get to Earth. I told you, I escaped the guards. Yes. But the number of guards hunting you down, Momoshiki would have sent all of them after you. And I doubt even you could have escaped that in your state, said Naruto. Unless someone was helping you. And, by now, there should already be a fleet searching Earth and all the surrounding planets for me. But there isn't, because you've been diverting them, haven't you? Just like how you helped Ursa. Aizen chuckled. How did you know? You found me too quickly, said Naruto. And not to mention, you didn't come here to kill anyone. I saw that the moment that you protected Mikoto. When you first grabbed her, at the speed that you were moving in, you know if you had moved too fast and grabbed her, her spine would have snapped, said Naruto. Mikoto paled at that, knowing that she could have almost died. So why did you take her then? Said Ursa. I wanted to test him. But he was gonna kill you, Ursa said. Well, there was only two ways this was gonna play out. Either I die or either I win. But now there's a third option. You were always a strong one, but when I saw you, I thought that you had lost your strength. The way you were acting knowing that your life was in danger. But I guess I was mistaken. You have got even more powerful, Aizen said. A lot more powerful. And I know if I failed here, and you were still weak, or if you had somehow managed to kill me, that would have been better than what Momoshiki is doing. What do you mean, said Naruto. Those who went up against him, he's not just killing them. He's absorbing them, stripping away their humanity, everything that made them themselves, and absorbing their power. He has done it before. He's gotten quite powerful, Naruto. But I see you have as well. A lot more powerful. That is why I believe you can beat him. Ursa shook her head. She had a small smile. I know you would have done something like this. You're always one that just loved to fight. Even in dire situations. Look at the state that you're in. As Aizen chuckled at that. As he looked at Naruto, Naruto waved his hand. The black rods disappear. Look, we were never really friends, but I respected you. And you respected me. Because of our power. But that little pansy bitch who think that he can rule all of us, I'm not gonna let that stand. And I see you're not gonna do that as well. That is why I pushed you to make sure that you still had the interest to fight, that you hadn't given up. Seems like you have something to fight for, he said, as he turned his head towards Mikoto, who was standing there. As Aizen coughed up some blood, Naruto reached forward and touched his forehead. As Aizen felt the rush of energy, his wound started to heal. As he tested out his hand, things have changed, he said. As he looked towards Ursa, people don't like Momoshiki as you think. He was always an arrogant jackass. But now that he took rulership, they don't like his rules even worse. But they can't stand against him because of his power. He then turned back towards Naruto. But I know you don't give a damn about that. You were always stronger than him. Always is better. And that made him jealous of you. There is many others that don't want to go by his rule. But there isn't someone that can rise up against him now. I know I have no chance against him, but you just might. So they will support you. Your houses. As Naruto scoffed at that. They betrayed me in the end. They refused to fight at my side against Momoshiki. You're wrong, said Naruto. What do you mean, said Ursa. I have no idea how long Momoshiki has been planning things. But the members of the council, they send out a decree to all of your house members that if you were helped in any way by them, they would be killed on the spot. No question, nothing. And they were not to say a single word of this. You think your people despise you. You think they still think of you as a son of those traitors Over the years, you have proved yourself to be one of the strongest Otsutsukis, even passing the power of your father. Someone that I respect the most because of his power. But they were all told if they intervene, they would die. I found out this recently, when they were talking about you, when Momoshiki had just taken over. And then, it didn't make any sense to me, so I did some more digging. I have someone in the council that told me that the king has been in a coma for some time now, and that Momoshiki has been seen talking to the advisors. They were the ones that sent out the decree. Your host members could not tell you. And not to mention, you were a jackass. What's Naruto? You gave them an option. Fight. And die by your side, but you didn't motivate them. You didn't give them a reason to break the council words and fight by your side. You didn't inspire them. You know how they are, prideful. And you need to make yourself being seen as the strongest, but yet you didn't do that. You let your hatred for Momoshiki take over, so your people decide to go against you. But now things are different. They hate him as much as you do. Most hate him there, but they just don't have the power to stand up to him. There has been rumors about your return, that you will be the one to come back and take away his throne. He's afraid. So he sent out many scouters to find you, so that he can come and deal with you himself without drawing any attention to it. He's gotten a lot stronger now, so he believes that he can kill you. But I see that you've improved as well, so that is why I'll lend you my aid. So if we're gonna fight and die, I'll fight by your side, as long as you don't wuss out. How about it? Said Aizan, as he held out his hand. As Naruto looked down towards it, as the two girls looked towards him, he reached out and grabbed the hand. Now that's what I'm talking about, said Aizan. Before anything else, said Naruto, there's something else I want you to do for me. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want the next person, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm out for now, see you guys soon. Peace.